So yesterday, the new Tsushima sequel was announced as Ghost of Yote, and honestly, it was the highlight for me of the state of play because generally, that most of that state of play was pretty mid. Besides the Astrobot DLC, which by the way, Astrobot's personally my game of the year, the rest of the showcase was pretty mid until the end when they announced Ghost of Yote, and I was excited seeing this. I really enjoyed Ghost of Tsushima. I haven't finished the DLC though, so I really need to get back and finish that DLC. But I really enjoyed what I played of it, and I found it to be really fun. Honestly, I agreed that it was better than Last of Us Part Two back in 2020. But everyone agrees that Ghost of Tsushima was a great game. People were talking about a potential sequel for this game. What would it be like? What would happen? Where is it going to take place? And we finally got the answer in Ghost of Yote, where it turns out this game takes place 300 years after the events of Ghost of Tsushima. And I, a lot of people were kind of upset with the idea of not continuing Jin's story because Jin Sakai, the main character of Tsushima, was a beloved character. A lot of people really liked his character in the previous game, and they were kind of hoping that the game would go into what would happen after the main events of the game, a potential sequel, what could they have done with Jin's story. But they decided, hey, Jin's story seems to be done and that they are going to continue with his new character. But what I wanted to talk about this new character is the anti-woke people have a problem with this already. We've only had one trailer of this game, and they're already angry that you play as a woman. So, Ghost of Yote has a new protagonist. It's a woman, and that it takes place 300 years after the events of Ghost of Tsushima. And the new protagonist seems to be, it's also in a new region. And honestly, what I saw, which isn't a whole lot, we didn't see a whole lot of the gameplay, but I thought looked good. I'm excited. This is definitely a day one buy next year. But already, the anti-woke crowd seems to have a problem with this game because of we're no longer playing as Jin, and instead we're playing as a woman. People are already calling it DEI, which honestly, this whole DEI conversation has been one of the most annoying conversation I've seen all year. So basically, for those who don't know what this whole Sweet Baby Inc. DEI kind of conversation is, so there's this company named Sweet Baby Inc. whose whole purpose is kind of to consult for game developers with how to make their games more diverse. And honestly, Sweet Baby Inc. sucks. Generally, I think they ruin games they touched. I think Spider-Man 2 was I wouldn't say completely ruined by Sweet Baby Inc. Probably a lot of things happened, but Sweet Baby Inc. definitely hurt that game by a whole lot. Mary Jawline, Watson, the whole you play as Miles Morales' girlfriend, even though I want to play as Spider-Man. And, so far, all the other games, they also worked on God of War Ragnarok, which now, I'm not surprised because I had a bit of an issue with the writing in that game. It kind of sounded very Marvel-ish with some of the jokes. And I'm like, this is God of War. I don't want Marvel humor in my God of War game. But overall, Sweet Baby Inc., they absolutely suck. But this kind of led to these kind of anti-woke crowd that came out of, that are now going over every game that's been coming out now and trying to label it as woke or DEI or Sweet Baby Inc., claiming that these games are bad because there is forced DEI. And I will agree to some extent that a lot of times these games that are trying to push diversity and are trying to push this kind of the message turns out to be crap. Like Concord. Concord had some of the ugliest characters designs I've ever seen. Concord generally was a trash game. And let's be honest, it wasn't just because of the character design. The game overall was trash, but it didn't help with the horrific absolutely garbage character designs of that game. You had like you played as like some of the most hideous characters I've seen in a while in a game. And we have seen this where specifically a lot of games that do have some kind of DEI push out some of the most ugliest characters we've ever seen. You know, it's been bad. But now, all of a sudden, every game is now being scrutinized with this kind of DEI lens, where people are trying to find some way to claim DEI. And unfortunately, Ghost of Yote seems to be another example of these anti-woke warriors going to war against the woke empire. So apparently, the lead actress for Ghost of Tsushima is someone who, I mean, not Ghost of Tsushima, sorry, Ghost of Yote seems to be kind of what people considered woke. She's supposedly a queer, genderless person, and that people are angry because of that, and they think, oh, she's ruining the game. She's going to destroy the game and all that stuff. And I find this such a stupid argument because she's just the actress. You know, she doesn't really, most of the time, actresses, they don't make any kind of decisions when it comes to the overall writing of the game, the overall performance of the game. Their whole role is just to act, you know? We've seen this before where actors would be in roles, even though, let's say the director doesn't share the same, let's say, political opinions of the actors, the same kind of overall opinions of the actors, they are still in the movie and they still do a good enough job. Just because there's one person tied to the project, especially an actor role where pretty much their whole entire role is just to act, is just to portray the characters. That doesn't mean this game is automatically woke or ruined by the DI empire, by the evil companies that are trying to force diversity into these games. And by the way, I don't like forced diversity, you know? I genuinely think the stuff Sweet Baby Inc. is doing is harming games and is generally not a good thing for the game industry. But these anti-woke warriors are absolutely annoying. They remind me of the SJWs back in 2016. You know those SJWs that goes, everything is racist and you need to be the one to call it out, or something like that line? They are literally, everything is woke and you need to call that out. They are literally different sides of the same coin. And it's absolutely annoying with how much of these annoying YouTubers, live streamers, whatever, are coming out and screaming woke, 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 woke. And it's just like, bro, just don't buy the game then, you know? And we have seen that, you know, Suicide Squad's a flop. Concord, that was horrible. I'm glad that they took that game down. But not everything that stars a female character is woke, you know? Which is the issue, because you want to be seen as someone who, let's say, isn't sexist, doesn't have a problem with minority roles in leading roles in video games, right? Most people, they don't have a problem with that. But you guys are making it seem like it is by attacking everything, by claiming it is DEI and woke. Go after the games that we know for sure have these weird kind of agendas being applied to it. Weird forced diversity. Like Dragon Age. Dragon Age Veilguard is like, yikes. That game does not look good. It has this weird... The characters aren't great. I don't like the art style for Veilguard. I think the game looks pretty bad. I don't think I'm going to get it, and I don't think a lot of people are going to get it. Games like that is fine, because it's clear there's a clear agenda behind this game, and they want to push diversity over fun gameplay. But that doesn't mean every game that has a minority role or someone who's the main character is portrayed by a queer, gender fluid activist is going to be in the same boat. Remember, she's the actress. Her job is just to act. That's all it is to it. And I think people need to just put the pitchforks down a bit, you know, relax, give it a chance, wait for some gameplay, wait for some more trailers, and then to make their kind of decision. Because doing this only makes your side look bad. Look, I want great games. I want games that aren't plagued with this Sweet Baby Ink nonsense. But that's not going to happen if you guys keep making a fuss out of every single thing, because that would mean the industry would want to fight back. We would see more of these Sweet Baby Ink companies, but instead of them being apparent, like instead of seeing Sweet Baby Ink directly mentioned in these games, they could be hiding within the companies itself. Now you wouldn't know if they are behind this game. And now that would allow these companies to find a way to make sure that they get what they want and they can screw over the consumers. That's why I'm saying you gotta wait. You gotta wait and see what's more to come from this game. I get it. There are people who are worried that it could end up a Sweet Baby Ink mess like we saw with some of the other games. But I feel like, personally, as someone who grew up playing Sucker Punch's game, I loved the Sly Cooper games, loved the Infamous game, loved Ghost of Tsushima. I think they are someone who, Sucker Punch is a company that I believe we should give a bit of leniency towards, who somewhat as a company that should be trusted. Remember, these guys did a great job at Ghost of Tsushima. They're like ambassadors for the island of Tsushima. Like, they were literally given the ambassador status by the country of Japan themselves. You know, it's, if there's one company that I trust not to screw this up, it'd probably be Sucker Punch. Because yeah, you see Ubisoft and they're completely messing things up, and it just doesn't look good for them. But let's be honest, Ubisoft has always been controversial. Ubisoft is not a Sucker Punch. And I feel like people need to give Sucker Punch more leniency. Sucker Punch, they're someone that tries to make fun games, and they're someone who appreciates the kind of culture around the games they're making. They appreciate Japanese culture. They appreciate every little thing about Tsushima Island, which allowed them to become ambassadors. So I think people should, like I said before, put the pitchforks down and wait. Because honestly, these anti-woke warriors on Twitter, on YouTube, they're annoying. They're giving everyone a bad image, who just, like, people who genuinely just want fun games are being roped in to these annoying people on Twitter that are screaming woke about everything. It's just absolutely bad that people are just out of nowhere so afraid of seeing anything that could be perceived as woke that they're pulling up the pitchforks and they're just getting angry. I think people should just relax, relax, wait for more trailers, wait for more gameplay, and wait and see if it's going to end up like, let's say, a Spider-Man 2, where it's super woke and all that. Or it could just be like the original Ghost of Tsushima, which wasn't overly woke, but still had some kind of, it still had woke elements in the game. There was a lesbian samurai in Ghost of Tsushima. I believe Adachi, I forgot her name, but her last name was Adachi. I believe she's bisexual or something like that. One of her side missions was about her and, avenging her family. But it turned out she had a lover, which was a woman. And, that could be perceived as woke by a lot of these annoying content creators and annoying Twitter users. So just wait and see if this game's going to be good or not. I personally think it is. I am looking forward to this game. I trust Sucker Punch that they're going to make a good game. And I feel like a lot of people should put the pitchforks down. We don't know if these Sweet Baby Ink companies or whatever is tied to this game, and you shouldn't just automatically assume just because the actress who's playing the main character in the game is queer, gender fluid, or whatever. I think people should just relax. But that's all I have for today. I want to know what you guys think in the comment sections below. I'll talk to you guys later. See ya.